In the beginning, this world was nothing but chaos, until the great god Menoth bestowed upon us his greatest creation, humanity. That is at least the belief held by the Protectorate of Menoth. They believe humanity was brought into existence by the deity known as Menoth. In fact, many peoples, including other humans and even other species such as the trollkin, believe that too. Compared to the other species, humanity is not known for their hardy bodies. Other beings like the trollkin possess greater physical strength, and other cultures like the dwarfs had already established elaborate culture by the time humanity was born. The very foundation of humankind's existence would have faltered if it had not been for the influence of Menoth. It was he who bestowed upon them the gift of fire, and with it the power of strength. Through his guidance, humanity was not only brought into being, but also raised to a level where it could coexist with the various other life forms within the world and maintain a sense of order. The legend goes that Menoth abandoned humanity to pursue the hunt for the devourer worm. Menoth appears to crave structure and organization, as well as the suppression of chaos and disorder, attributes that the devourer worm seemed to represent. The decision to hunt the beast was a significant one, as it left humanity without their deity. He did leave them with something though, the true law, the set of rules humanity must abide by. If there were no true law, humanity would be vulnerable and chaotic. It would fall apart and cease to exist. However, being faithful does not come without its great tests. The Temple of Menoth was once the state religion of Signar, and under King Waldred's rule was nurtured. However, when the king died without a clear successor, his nephew Managant the Grim stepped up to seize the throne. The Temple of Menoth refuted his rule, and in return the execution of 200 Menite priests occurred, and Menite citizens were pushed out of their homes and relocated to eastern Caspia. The deceitful Church of Morrow was declared the new state religion of Signar, and many of the so-called faithful were influenced to join this new church. The Church of Morrow's beliefs revolve around the notion of personal value and personal betterment, the idea that an individual can make a great contribution to society. This goes against the view of Menites that strength comes from unity. As a result, the Church of Menoth lost a significant number of its followers, becoming a minority that could potentially disappear into oblivion. Action had to be taken, and Fisgoth Solon, a renowned figure, decided he had to act for the sake of all humanity. The call to migrate to the city of Caspia was issued to all Menites, urging them to leave their homes and come together as one. Caspia was already home to a considerable number of Menites to begin with. Solon was granted the position of hierarch over the congregation, the streets filled with ardent devotees showing their faith in Menoth. Seeing the rising fire, Signar made its best effort to suppress the protests, but they soon escalated to riot. Signar endured a civil war for 2 years. The Menites brought destruction to Signar with their hellfire. However, the war claimed Solon's life, leaving the faithful without a leader and causing them to become lost in the conflict. Eventually, they yielded to the calls for peace. As a result, they were fairly given land in the southern desert, but they were still obligated to pay taxes to Signar. They were also prohibited from owning weapons and had to swear loyalty to the Signarian crown. The Menites took their time to reorganize and restructure their church, ensuring that the absence of a leader would not lead to collapse again. This devoted group of Menites stood upon the sand, looked to the sun, and would later become known as the Protectorate of Menoth. Over time, they prospered and amassed wealth. However, secretly, They trained in martial combat and spread violent ideology among their people, igniting the fire within their souls. A little over a century after its inception, the Protectorate's hierarch Foyle declared a grand crusade to reclaim Imaran. In their initial wave of attacks, they breached the walls of Caspia, but were ultimately repelled when Foyle perished in battle. Nevertheless, the Protectorate had learned from their past mistakes. Cypherius was appointed as the new hierarch and immediately led the crusade north, where they clashed with the other Iron Kingdoms. The Protectorate aimed to restore order and enforce the true law, using violent means if necessary. Fire and faith were their weapons of choice. Menoth's followers were numerous across the Iron Kingdoms, including Signar and Kador. This proved beneficial for the Protectorate, as they often had allies within the opposition. At that time, Menoth appeared strong. However, a catastrophe loomed on the horizon. The Protectorate had successfully fended off attacks of Crick's forces for a long time on their coast, but when the Infernals arrived, Menoth's strength was overwhelmed. Despite their best efforts to defend against both new and old threats, their forces were crushed. Many of the faithful fought until the bitter end, but the sovereign, Tristan Durant, decided to evacuate as many people as possible. He gathered the fleets of Menoth and set sail for the island of Su, while the rest of the Protectorate was engulfed in flames. Out of 1 million or so inhabitants of the Protectorate, only a few thousand managed to escape on the boats. The fate of those refugees remain unknown. Su is a place shrouded in mystery. It is mostly unmapped and untamed, home to many dangerous predators and people, like the totem hunters. Su is a deep, unexplored jungle. The few known coastal towns are not open to outsiders, and humans there have their own faith and customs. It's speculated that Tristan will create a new place for Menoth there, and engage in proselytism to convert the local people to the true law. How it has gone, or if the refugees even made it to the continent, is unknown. This is not the first time that the faithful have been pushed to the brink of extinction, and if they hold true in their faith of Menoth, will he see them through? Will Menoth ever return from the great hunt? Will the Protectorate be able to live on in this new continent and eventually make their return to the Iron Kingdoms? Only time will tell. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's just a little overview of Menoth. It doesn't go into the most detail. It didn't discuss all of the different gifts Menoth gave us, just fire and other things like that. I didn't go into complete detail over who was in charge of the Protectorate at what points. There was many great heroes I haven't mentioned, and events that I've just left out, because this is a simple overview of the faction and also a primer leading up to where they are in Mark 4. Speaking of which, do you think they will make a return? I think they will. I think it's a great opportunity to bring Menoth back with a slightly different style, keep the way they look in their armor and everything, but maybe have some exotic mounts, maybe have other species join Menoth. We know that Trollkin have joined Menoth before, so maybe we could get some totem hunters or something like that. It'd be really cool to see.